When I started to take a greater interest in this wonderful game of snooker, I had developed a slight flaw in my cue action caused by a shoulder injury that I'd sustained during my work as a PE instructor. If you look at my old videos, you will notice that my arm, instead of being vertical, is in a little here. That's a direct result of that injury. Just to emphasize the point, if I leant over in this sort of situation, which you shouldn't be doing incidentally, but we all do, from there I noticed that my cue was going in a slight arc. And I realized that although it was quite a substantial arc while I was in that position, I wondered if there was a slight arc when I was in the conventional position. And it was a very, very slight one, and it was there. It was obvious to me. And I would miss silly shots because of it. I would be cueing across the ball. So I started to look as to what I could do to combat that. Well, the first part about it is if I had a full grip there, that caused me to use, shall we say, the major muscles of the arm. And because of the injury, they didn't work correctly. You know, yes, I could have forced the arm out, but that's not natural. You know, and under pressure, it would just let me down. I needed to be in a natural position. So the full grip was causing me to raise the butt a little, but also it was causing me to use the major muscles of the arm, and that arc occurred. So I looked at, if we look at, say, a dart player as an example, which I think I've mentioned this before in other videos, but if they threw the dart with the major muscles of the arm, there is no way in this world could they be consistent. You watch the dart player and they all end up with their wrist in that position. And this wrist action from there reduces the effect, the use of these major muscles. Yes, they do some work, of course they do, they move. But the dart is actually thrown with that bit there. Now, I'm not advocating that we should all use the wrist. Some players do, some don't. But what I am advocating is the fact that if we have a full grip, it will force you to use the major muscles of the arm. Now, if you're a player like Steve Davis, 6 times world champion, I mean, he was precisely in that position, and he could play well enough with a full grip or with any sort of grip, because his arm was always in line, and his anatomy allowed him to do that. Not many of us are as good as Steve Davis. So if you can concentrate on the front of the hand, it's amazing how it allows you to reduce the effect of these major muscles. Yes, they will work, they will have to work, they move, but equally, the initial movement of propelling the cue forward can be done from the front of the hand instead of the major muscles. Right, so now it's an individual thing. You don't have to use much wrist at all here, but you know, some players will use a lot of wrist here, cutting out even more major muscle action, etc., etc. Now, for me, getting the cue here and here into that V between the 2 knuckles of the thumb and the forefinger is the key element. And from there, you can decide as an individual what works for you, whether you're going to use a lot of wrist or hardly any. Okay? What I want you to think about is reducing the effect of these major muscles. Concentrate on the front of the hand more. Don't think that these other rear fingers come off. They don't. right? They're always touching, but they have very little effect on the delivery of the cue. They concentrate more on the timing of the shot once you've played the shot. Now, some people will, from there, once they get to the chest, they release the front of the hand and they get to there. If you can do that, it's fine. Good God, Ronnie O'Sullivan does it, so you know, if he can do it, you know, there's not much wrong in doing it. But equally, not everybody can do it. And if you've got enough room from here, yeah, fingers on, don't forget, always touching, and bring the hand to the chest, here, to the body. Is there any need to do that? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Have a think about it and try and work on what works for you. Good luck with that practice.